Here comes Phil. If you can, please just raise your digital hand. We'll call on you for questions. Start things off with Andy.
Phil, obviously being from Western Pennsylvania, playing Pittsburgh team that recruited you, is there an added meaning to this game, and what's it like to play a team that you grew up around?
Yeah, it means a lot. It's really a dream. Just growing up watching Pitt all the time, and then now getting the chance to play them, it is weird, and it's important. I've played against a lot of those guys. I know a good amount of them, so it's going to be fun playing.
We'll go to Rich.
Just from what I hear, it sounds like it would be great to play for Coach Narduzzi. Did you have any meetings with him? What were your impressions of him as a coach and a man?
Yeah, every interaction I had with Coach Narduzzi was good. After entering into the transfer portal, BC was really on me hard. They were on me first, and they were recruiting me the hardest. But I did talk to Coach Narduzzi, and really it was just the situation. BC just was a better situation for me.
We'll go to Julian.
Phil, I was wondering, I mean, this was a big decision for you in general, right? Coming to BC. What were the things that were important to you besides just the straight football, like the role you could play? How did sort of Jeff and Frank talk to you about, like, just the transition you made, like leaving a place that you had sort of had ideas for yourself at, and then what the opportunity could be, and then how difficult was it, or were you at a point where it was like, all right, I'm ready, and I think I could do something else better somewhere else?
Yeah, to be honest, there wasn't a whole lot other than football. I came for the coaches and for football, but it is great. Like, there's so much at BC that's really cool. The city, the academics, like there's a lot that adds to it all.
We'll go next to Jerry.
Phil, I'm curious. You visited BC pretty soon after you were in the portal, then you committed pretty soon after your visit. What exactly was it that attracted you to the school? Was it Halfway? Was it Signetti? What exactly was the attraction? Yeah,
it was both of them. Like I said, they were just really hard on me, always calling, and there weren't a ton of other schools, and so it was pretty clear like what school wanted me the most, and so we had to make a decision pretty soon because I wanted to be enrolled for the January classes. So it all kind of went really quickly, and a lot of schools, like a lot of situations, it just wasn't right. They didn't have scholarship spots or, whatever it was, but it was very clear from the start that BC was the place.
We'll go next to John.
Yeah, Phil, on that, you mentioned obviously knowing some guys on the Pitt team. Any of those guys in particular that you've been talking to? Any of those specific any conversations you've had this week, or you kind of going radio silent on those guys this week?
I haven't talked really to them, but yeah, I know a good amount of those guys. Grant Kerrigan, I played with him at Pine Richland. Just in our conference, Cradle and all those Central guys, like there's a bunch. Paris 4, we played against him in 7-on-7, like Patricia and all those guys.
Can I follow up on that? Is it going to be weird almost to see Paris and DeMar and Patrician and those guys lining up against you?
Yeah, it will be a little weird out there at first, probably but it's going to be fun and have a little bit of payback because they beat us whenever I played DeMar and the Central guys, whenever I was at Pine Richland, they beat us. So it'll be fun, try to get the win on them.
We'll go next to Tim.
Well, good to see you again. Wanted to ask you about some of the similarities that you may or may not notice going to Boston College. You know what it's like seeing Pitt here in a pro sports town, and I know the enthusiasm that followed you from the BC fans when you decided to transfer to Boston College. Do you ever kind of get melancholy and think, boy, how cool would this be? You know, have that sort of enthusiasm in the building, and how much do you long for fans to be there so you can play in front of a home stadium in Chestnut Hill?
Yes, definitely. Boston is a very cool city because of how many good sports teams there are. And they try to say it's the city of champions, but it's not really the city of champions. Pittsburgh always will be. But I would love to have everything open. We were all talking about it, like just the buzz around the community of BC, Newton, and Boston. I think that there'd be a lot of buzz with our team right now, and just with how many sports fans there are around, it's really cool.
We'll go to Trevor.
Hey, Phil, just circling back to some stuff that was asked earlier, just were you a Pitt fan growing up, and just how often did you go to games? Like, how involved were you just as a fan as a kid, or were you not a Pitt fan?
I was a Pitt fan. I really enjoyed them growing up, watching them. I was just talking to Coach Ignetti the other day about one of the most heartbreaking losses as a kid, like as a fan growing up, was the 45-44 Pitt loss to Cincinnati. And Coach Hafley and Coach Ignetti were coaches at Pitt then. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I am a Pitt fan. I like their team. I have a lot of respect for them, and I hope that a lot of those Western Pennsylvania kids that are at Pitt, I wish them success, and I hope they go on.
We'll go to Julian.
I was just plucking over some quotes from Narduzzi from yesterday, I want to say, and one of the things he noticed about you, besides the way you were playing, was that you were playing with the same confidence that he remembered from you. I was just wondering, how do you take that? You know what I mean? From whether it was, oh man, he sees the same kid he saw, you know, when he recruited me, or you know, whether there's some sort of restored or renewed, or whether that was always there, that level of confidence you play with.
Definitely, I think. My confidence waned at Notre Dame. I wasn't feeling the same. I wasn't as comfortable. Wasn't, just feeling good out there. And with confidence, as games go by, as practices go on, as time goes on, confidence grows. So I hope to continue growing that confidence, and to, just keep it going.
We'll go to Jerry.
Phil, you seem like a very decisive guy. I mean, you made your choice at Notre Dame pretty quick. You made your choice at BC pretty quick. But you grew up a Pitt fan. How hard did Pitt come after you when you're coming out of high school? And I guess they came after you a little bit, coming out of Notre Dame. Talk about how much you may have wanted to go to Pitt at some point in your life.
Yeah, I did. To be honest, Pitt and Notre Dame were the two teams that I rooted for growing up. And whenever it came down to, I went to Notre Dame off of the brand name, off of everything that I thought it would be. And so after that, the second time around, I was really only focusing on the coaches. I wasn't focusing on anything outside. But I did know, like Ben DiNucci, the quarterback that was ahead of me, he went to Pitt, and Coach Narduzzi did give me the opportunity. Whenever I was a sophomore, he offered me, and they did. I can't say anything bad about what they did. They offered me a scholarship, and they tried to get me there.
We're going to take two more. First with Andy.
Phil, a big part of your game is extending plays. When you're going up against a defensive line like Pitt's, it leads the ACC in sacks. How do you balance extending those plays, but also knowing you can't take negative plays, you can't take sacks and stuff like that? How do you balance that?
Yeah, in the UNC game, there was a few plays that were pretty sketchy that I don't know if I can get away with all the time. So I have to be smart, keeping two hands on the ball. Pitt has a great D line, and they're going to be aggressive. So I have to be wary of extending plays, of getting sloppy with the ball.
And we'll wrap things up with Dan.
Well, first, I'm not going to let you off the hook on the City of Champions comment as a native Bostonian. I can't let you off the hook on that, and I will disagree vehemently. But your relationship with Coach Signetti, was talking to ask Coach Halfley just before you came on about his relationship with Coach Signetti. In terms of as a quarterback's coach, fellow Pittsburgh guy who coached there as well, just what has he shown you and how has he been able to help you over these first few weeks now that you've had a couple of games with him?
Yeah, he's helped me a ton. He's really flipped football for me, made it fun again, made it into, the way it's supposed to be. I think at our team, the whole coaching staff does that. They allow us to play free. They give us leeway. They understand, I think, Coach Halfley, Coach Signetti, they understand that there are different styles of quarterbacking. So you can't really box people into a certain style or what you want them to be, that everybody's going to be a little bit different. So that's what I love most about them. And Coach Signetti, just with the game planning, every week's different, but I feel like we're just building it week by week, and we're progressing. Everybody in the offense, I can see it is getting better week by week.
Phil, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.